Hello everyone, let's take a look at a quick morning analysis and see what happened overnight and what our current zones are. I adjusted it a bit because I had sent a zone that was somewhere in this range. We had a miss here, more or less, but it actually needed to be adjusted. I was just quite busy with other things yesterday, as you might have seen on Instagram. So that whole zone was supposed to shift in this direction because the original fib was drawn, I think, from here, and the low was maybe at most here or still here. I don't know now. But it all shifted more or less all the way down here. Then it went beautifully to the 50 fib and the trend line, which I said I'd be watching this trend line, and that's pretty much what happened. There was also this nice level on a lower time frame, plus the 50 fib, plus the trend line. So for us who had an entry somewhere here, it's more or less a miss in my opinion. Although it could still work, but it would be too risky now with this move, which is currently over 200 pips. So I pretty much skipped it. But what I'm interested in next, if we don't react here and go down to make another lower low or something, as far as short zones go, I'm mainly interested in these. I'm using this fib. It seems a bit less aggressive to me now. And so here I'm mainly interested in the zone around 44.95, which is actually a few pips before the 61 and a round number. Overall, I think that key level is still quite interesting. When we look at it, we can see it keeps reacting here. Plus, I think we could take out the top of this, some liquidity from here, and I think it could then drop down. Then I have this as a backup zone, which in my opinion doesn't have such a nice key level. It's not that nice of a zone. So I would probably only take this zone if this one gets broken. Like if it just goes through it like butter, then it could work. Of course, then there's also the start of the golden zone. Rather than, if anything, I'd probably look more at this peak. This peak here is a bit harder to manage because for one, there's the golden zone, which starts right in this zone, but that would make it a huge zone, a zone like this already. At the same time, when we look, the 61 is here, which fits this perfectly. So it could be like this. And that would basically make it like the 88 plus this whole peak, but that still makes a huge zone. If we wanted to take it above 100, it would have to be around a 200 pip stop loss, which is a lot. So there are two options for what you can do. Either you go from this 88 and stack your orders, and when it drops, it'll just do what it's supposed to do. Or you just hope and go like more from here to lower your stop loss. That stop loss would then be some 140, 100 and something pips with target back down here. So that would make more sense than taking it from here, but it's quite possible it could react here. So that's some info for you watching this breakdown. Moving on, we have a reaction overall in this channel. Personally, I still think we are more or less bearish, although it's not completely clear cut anymore because we're hanging around here quite a bit. Although we made a lower low, these are quite important levels, so it could easily push higher, but I don't know. What interests me here though, these zones are definitely much riskier in my opinion, because of course it's a 15-minute one. Pure and simple, a classic fib. And we have the 61 here, plus this level, these wicks here, and this level overall, right? It's not as nice here, but we also see a reaction to it here. We see some mess here, a reaction here, a reaction here. So there is some key level there. It's just not a very nice key level. And that's also why I'd more or less like to see the 50, that it just goes through it. Like as soon as it goes through it, it makes sense. As soon as it doesn't go through it and just make some reaction here, let's say 100 pips or 150 pips, even 80 will be like, I don't know how. Then those 61s will be quite riskier. In that case, I would skip it entirely if it starts making a mess here. And I would go mainly for that golden zone. Also, that golden zone has a huge wick below it, so it could easily sweep that wick, which makes it riskier too. That's why these zones are like, well, I don't know. But ideally, if it ranged somehow, or if it just in these levels maybe made some reaction here and then dropped exactly into that golden zone and to the trend line on the third touch. That would be ideal. Another thing worth mentioning is that tomorrow is NFP. And personally, during NFP week, I don't like to trade even on Thursday. So it's like, yeah, Friday morning is still doable. Thursday is doable. After that, of course, not so much. So that's my little outlook.